Hey guys, welcome back to FoolCraft 3. This may be just a short episode. I was going to show you guys what I figured out here outside. Not sure why I set it up out here, actually. Oh yeah, because I was going to grow a tree. Anyway, here outside the base, I figured out how to make plastic sheets, and I was going to give you guys a warning. If you search JEI for the word latex, your game will crash. Probably. Mine did, like twice. And also, if you try to search for the word reservoir, like the water reservoir item, that will crash also. If you type, whenever you're typing latex, you get to LAT and then the game crashes because there's some kind of model somewhere in JEI that will crash your game. And you can restart your game and get back in and be perfectly fine until you try to open your inventory or open the inventory of a chest or something that shows this JEI window over here, and your game will crash again because it can't render one of these models over here correctly. Something is terribly wrong with it. Let's see, latex, reservoir, and there was a third one that I can't remember now. Oh yeah, the block placer. I was looking for a block placer, and I typed in the word place, like PLA, and the game crashed. I might have got to the C, I'm not sure. But anyway, so those three, avoid typing them, which makes this setup very hard to build. Because it's items that make latex, process latex, and use a block placer. So I'm going to show you guys the blocks, because they're all from Industrial Foregoing, which is the new version of what mod was that now? I can't even think of the name of what the mod used to be. Anyway, one of the mods got totally reworked. It used to have safari nets, but now it's a mob imprisonment tool. It's called Industrial Foregoing now, whatever it used to be called. I can't remember. I'll think of it as soon as I'm done recording. Anyway, Mine Factory Reloaded. There we go. MFR. It was Mine Factory Reloaded. Anyway, well, the reason I was trying to get to this and get these plastic sheets and do all this other junk was for the mob duplicator, which is the same as the old mob spawner, because for some of the Project E stuff later, I have to get a statue of a ghast, and I don't think you can craft the statues, like the base statues of the mobs. You have to kill the mobs to get them, and they are super low drop rate as far as I can tell, because the only ones I've gotten are a cow and a sheep, and I've murdered like probably a couple hundred of those. I haven't got any aggressive mob statues yet. But anyway, I figured, hey, if I can just go catch a ghast in the nether and bring it back and spawn it and kill it, then I'll be a little better off anyway. So, about latex, here's the deal. You need a tree fluid extractor, which is right in here somewhere. Here we go. Tree fluid extractor. Here's the recipe. Iron gear, furnace, redstone, 6 stone. The iron gear can be made with 5 iron or 4 iron and a bronze. Exactly the same. So you're going to need at least one of these. This block actually does not require power. I've got 3 of them right here. I do have power in this setup, but it doesn't go to these at all. The tree fluid extractor runs entirely on its own. The only thing it needs is in front of it, and you can tell which side the front is if you look at it. It's got these little grindy bits on the front. The only thing that it needs is in front of it, it needs some kind of wood block. And it will passively generate fluid latex by grinding up that block right there. And as you can tell, it's taking damage. It's like it's being harvested very slowly, which it is. Eventually it will break and disappear, and then that one got automatically replaced because I have this block placer right here. As far as I can tell, they cannot be placed facing up or down, only to the side. You can't rotate them at all to the top or bottom, only to the sides, northeast, southwest. not top and bottom. Same for this block placer. Let me give you the recipe for this block placer. 3 droppers, 4 plastic, so you actually have to have the plastic set up and get a couple of pieces beforehand. 1 redstone and either a simple machine chassis, which we've made a lot of these from Ender.io, or you can use a machine frame from Thermal Expansion if you have this more readily available. It's a 4 iron, 4 glass, and a 10 gear, which is 4 tin and iron. So pretty easy. But yeah, also the block placer cannot be placed facing up or down, as far as I can tell. I haven't found a way to switch it to place blocks to the top or bottom, only to the sides. I've tried placing it at different orientations. I've tried using different wrenches and tools to turn it that way. It doesn't want to go. So my original idea was to set up 4 of these in a square around the wood block, and then have the block placer on the bottom of it, placing the block above it. So that way I can use 4 extractors on one piece of wood at a time, and then it'd be automatically replaced by the block placer. But that doesn't seem to work. Anyway, the block placer only uses power when it places the block, and it really doesn't use that much power at all. It also has an internal inventory. You can just fill it full of logs, and it'll place them until it runs out, one at a time. Like I said, the tree fluid extractor does not use power at all. And then I've got all the fluid from those in these conduits coming out to the latex processing unit, which was very hard to build because my game crashed 4 times trying to make it. Because I couldn't search the word latex, and something in the JEI was totally killing my game. So, once I figured out exactly what was causing the problem and avoided it, here's the recipe for the latex processing unit. 2 furnaces, 4 iron, a redstone, and iron gear, and either a machine frame or a simple machine chassis. So very similar to the block placer recipe. And here's the internal workings. So it has to have power, it has to have water, and then it has to get the fluid latex from these here, the extractors. Once you have all that set up, here's what I'm using. I was using some of these open blocks tanks and just bucketing it in there, but it uses like 1,000, like a full bucket of water every time it processes one of these little latex units, and so that was pretty slow. So I went into the base, into the kitchen, and pulled the sink from the wall and just stuck it out here because that's infinite water source right there. I tried searching for a reservoir item, which is like these tanks. It kind of looks like that. If you set up 4 of them in a square, it makes an infinite water source block that you can extract from with pipes. And yeah, the word reservoir crashes the game on JEI, so I had to reset my JEI config file again. But yeah, so just grabbed the sink and stuck it here and pumped it out. If I need this in the base for some reason, it's here, and I can just run that off of this tank for a little bit. Otherwise, it's out here, and I don't really need it in the base for now. But yeah, so that's the setup. As this makes these little latex dots, the little tiny pieces, that's these right here, tiny dry rubber. I think it did just make one. Yeah, tiny dry rubber. Those are being exported from this side to this crafter tier 1 from RF Tools. These are very handy. I've used these probably multiple times all over the place. There's a couple in the base already, making random stuff, just helping with simple craft recipes. This is taking 9 of them and making 1 dry rubber. And that's the only way to get that, as far as I know. And then once it gets these, it exports them to the chest right here. Ignore all the random junk in here. There was a bunch of mobs around. And I did a little bit of deforestation on that hill over there to get some more logs for this. But yeah, that's getting these dry rubbers. And then once you have the dry rubber, you just straight up smelt these into the plastic sheets. So I believe it's the same number of steps as it used to be to make plastic, but it's just a different set of steps. But yeah, that's that. That's how you do it. That's all the steps. So anybody wanting to make latex that hasn't figured it out yet, there you go. As far as game crashes, if your game has crashed from searching through JEI and you can't open your inventory or a chest or any kind of machine interface without your game crashing, and it says something like unknown error, unexpected, game close, whatever, go into the configuration files in your FoolCraft 3 folders. One of the folders says config. Look for JEI, open that, and then go to, it's called, I think, worldsettings.cfg. Just delete that file, and then start your game back over. And what that does is this search bar right here, it will clear that search bar so that your JEI resets back to showing just this right here. And then you're good to go. So if you guys have that problem, that's how to fix it, and that's how to make latex. So yeah, thanks for coming by and checking this out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will see you guys then. Have a good day.